Louis, really tragic. According to police, there was some sort of altercation between those two brothers and the suspect. It all happened here at this apartment building on the second floor. Those two men are dead and an arrest has been made. Miami police investigating a double homicide in the Liberty City neighborhood. Two brothers, Jaheim and Gianni Pierre, were shot and killed May 2nd at this apartment building off Northwest 17th Avenue. Audio from dispatch says a caller reported 6 shots fired and a woman reporting her brother was shot.
The officers who responded to the shots fired call on NW 17th Avenue that Saturday afternoon were not expecting what they found when they pulled up to the apartment building. A woman ran toward them barefoot. Her clothes were covered in blood. She was not screaming. She was speaking clearly through whatever shock was moving through her body, and what she told them in those first moments set the shape of everything that followed. Her brothers were inside, both of them, and the man who shot them was her boyfriend. That alone would have been enough to begin an investigation. But then something happened that officers at a scene like this almost never encounter so quickly, so directly, so quietly. The suspect was nearby, and he walked toward them. According to police, Antwin Carter, 31 years old, approached the officers himself. He did not run. He did not hide. He told them in words that would later appear in the arrest report, "I am the one, I have the firearm." He reached into his right pocket and surrendered the gun without a struggle. Within minutes of arriving, police had a grieving woman, 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds inside the apartment, a confession, and a firearm. The scene was already being processed before most people in the neighborhood had any idea what had happened. Inside that apartment were 2 brothers, Gianni Pierre, 28 years old, Jaheim Pierre, 23 years old. They had reportedly come over that morning because they were worried about their sister. By the end of that afternoon, neither of them was alive. And the question that would follow this case, the question that stayed with everyone who heard it, was not who pulled the trigger. The answer to that came almost immediately. The question was what happened before that door opened. Welcome to the channel. If you are here for the first time, this is a space for serious, carefully told stories about real cases and real people. What happened to Gianni and Jaheim Pierre deserves to be told with care and with honesty. So stay with us, because this story is not over yet. To understand why this case stayed with people, we have to go back before the officers arrived, before the gunshots, before the arrest, and before 2 brothers stepped into an apartment because they thought their sister needed them. Gianni Pierre was 28 years old. His brother Jaheim was 23. 5 years apart, the kind of gap that sometimes means a little distance and sometimes means a lifelong closeness. By every account that has surfaced since that Saturday, these were brothers who showed up for their family. Their sister had been in a relationship with Antwin Carter for approximately 4 years. Carter was 31. The relationship, according to police report-based accounts, had not been without difficulty. The brothers were reportedly aware that there had been prior incidents of domestic violence between Carter and their sister. That is an important detail, not because it explains everything, but because it explains why 2 young men got up on a Saturday morning and went to their sister's apartment on NW 17th Avenue in Liberty City. This was not a casual visit. It was not a holiday gathering. According to the information that would later appear in the arrest affidavit and related reports, the brothers came because they were concerned about her safety. Think about what that kind of concern feels like from the inside. It is not always dramatic. It is quiet. It is the kind of worry that builds slowly over time, through small moments that add up, through phone calls that feel a little off, through the specific way someone sounds when they say everything is fine. At some point, Gianni and Jaheim reached a place where simply worrying was no longer enough. They decided to go there in person. Their sister's name has not been widely published in connection with this case, in part because of the domestic violence context, and that restraint will be honored here. What matters is that she was their sister, and she was at the center of why they came. Carter was at the apartment when the brothers arrived. Whatever had been building before that morning was now in the same room. What had happened before that day that made the brothers feel they needed to go there? The full history has not been laid out in public records yet, but the concern was real enough to bring them across the city and through that front door. When Gianni and Jaheim arrived, they may have thought they were walking into a tense conversation. But inside that apartment, the situation was already beginning to shift. What happened inside that apartment in the time before the shooting has been pieced together from multiple sources, including the arrest report, witness accounts, and surveillance footage. Some details remain under dispute, as they often do in the very early stages of a case. What follows reflects what police reports and arrest affidavit-based coverage have described. At some point after the brothers arrived, an argument broke out. According to the arrest report, the confrontation involved Jaheim and Carter, and it became physical. A punch was thrown, a scuffle followed. The details of exactly how it unfolded, who said what, who moved first, are part of what the courts will eventually examine. But the core of it is this. A situation that may have started as a protective family visit became a physical altercation inside a small apartment. Carter's account, as reported, was that the brothers came in aggressively. The sisters' account, as reflected in police-based reporting, painted a different picture. Both of those accounts exist in the record, and neither has been tested in a courtroom yet. What is confirmed is what happened next. The sister left the apartment, not to flee, at least not yet. She went to a neighbor and asked them to call police. That single decision tells you something. Whatever was happening inside that apartment had reached a point where she felt it was necessary to involve someone from the outside. When she returned, something had changed. Carter was no longer inside. She locked the door. It is worth pausing on that moment. The argument had happened. Carter was gone. She had taken steps to get help. She locked the door behind her, and the people still inside that apartment, her brothers, may have felt, at least for a moment, that the worst of it was over. Police had been called. Carter was gone. The door was locked. For a brief moment, the story could still have ended differently. But the next part of the timeline is the part investigators would come back to again and again, because Carter allegedly did not stay away. Surveillance cameras at or near the apartment building were recording. That detail matters, because what happened next has been documented not only through witness accounts, but through footage that investigators would later review as part of the case. According to reports based on the arrest affidavit, Carter left the apartment and walked to his car. A black four-door sedan. He reached into the vehicle and retrieved something, placing it into his right pocket. Then he walked back toward the building. He allegedly began banging on the apartment door. Loudly, he allegedly yelled through it, demanding that someone open up. According to reporting on the arrest affidavit, Carter's words through that door were framed as a challenge. He was not asking calmly. He was demanding. Inside the apartment, the sister reportedly told her brothers not to open the door. Jaheim opened it. What followed was fast. According to investigators, Carter forced his way inside, reaching toward his right pocket as he entered. Gunshots were fired. The sister ran out of the apartment barefoot. Neighbors reported hearing shots, and at least one reported hearing what sounded like a door slam in the aftermath. Jaheim Pierre, 23 years old, was found in a closet inside the apartment. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Gianni Pierre, 28 years old, was found near a couch. He was transported to the Ryder Trauma Center at Jackson Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Both brothers had been shot multiple times. Carter had left. There had been a moment of distance. Police had already been called, but according to investigators and surveillance footage, he returned. He came back to a locked door. He came back with something in his pocket. And when that door opened, the story became something no one in that family will ever be able to undo. The story is no longer just about an argument. It becomes about what happened after Carter allegedly walked away and then came back. Before we move further into the investigation, take a moment with what this part of the story actually means. Gianni and Jaheim Pierre were not headlines. They were brothers. They reportedly came to that apartment because they believed their sister might need help. They stepped into danger not because they were looking for a confrontation, but because that is what family sometimes does. They did not wait to be asked. They showed up, and by the end of that Saturday, both of them were gone. If stories like this matter to you, stories about real families, about warning signs that go unanswered, about the people left behind after a single morning changes everything, please subscribe and stay with us. This channel exists to make sure cases like this are not forgotten. The people inside these stories deserve more than a few days of headlines. They deserve to be remembered carefully and honestly, and with the weight that their lives actually carried. And when police arrived, the investigation did not begin with a manhunt. It began with a man standing nearby, telling officers he was the one. When officers reached the apartment building on NW 17th Avenue, the scene they encountered was already in motion. A woman in blood-stained clothes, no shoes on her feet, was approaching them from the direction of the building. She was the sister. She told them what had happened, identified the shooter as her boyfriend, and confirmed that her brothers were still inside. Inside, investigators found Jaheim in a closet and Gianni near a couch. Both had suffered multiple gunshot wounds. A 9 Glock 43 had been fired inside that apartment. Spent shell casings and projectile evidence were recovered at the scene. Nearby, Antwin Carter was waiting. He walked toward police and said, according to the arrest report, "I am the one, I have the firearm." He reached into his right pocket and handed over the weapon. He was cooperative. He did not resist. He was placed under arrest at the scene. Investigators began building the evidence record almost immediately. The sister's statement, Carter's statement, the recovered firearm, the surveillance footage from the building, physical evidence from inside the apartment, a neighbor who reported hearing shots followed by the sound of a slamming door, each piece connected to the next. The picture that emerged was not a mystery in the traditional sense. There was no question about who had pulled the trigger. Carter had answered that himself. What investigators turned their attention to was the sequence. The departure. The car, the pocket, the return, the door. The choice allegedly made between the moment Carter walked away and the moment that door swung open again. Most cases like this begin with a search. This one began with a man, allegedly, identifying himself within minutes of the shooting. But even with Carter in custody, the case was not finished. Because once detectives questioned him, another version of the story began to appear. In the hours after the arrest, Carter spoke to detectives. His account, as reflected in police report-based coverage, was this: he had left the apartment to get some air. He said he went to his car to retrieve his keys and his wallet. According to his reported statement, when he returned and the door opened, the brothers were already in a fighting stance, fists raised, ready to continue the physical confrontation that had happened earlier. He claimed, according to reports, that he acted in self-defense. That claim is now part of the public record. It should be treated as what it is at this stage: Carter's reported account of events, not a court-proven finding, and not a claim that has been tested against the full body of evidence in front of a jury. Because there is a timeline sitting next to that claim, and the two do not align easily. Carter allegedly left the apartment after a physical confrontation inside. He allegedly walked to his car, a black 4-door sedan. Surveillance footage reportedly showed him placing an object into his right pocket before returning. He allegedly came back to a locked door. He allegedly banged on that door and yelled through it, demanding someone open it. The sister, who was inside, reportedly told her brothers not to open it. Jaheim opened it. According to investigators and the surveillance record, Carter did not wait to see what the brothers would do. He allegedly charged inside and reached toward his pocket as he entered. Then there is the detail the arrest report describes about something Carter allegedly said to his girlfriend after the shooting. The alleged statement appeared to place blame on her. Because the case has not reached trial, and because the quote is emotionally charged, it will only be described here as alleged and only noted once. It is in the record. It will likely be part of the prosecution's framing. Carter has since been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. A judge reviewed the case and denied bond, ordering him held without bond at a correctional facility in Miami-Dade County pending trial. A public defender is representing him. A written plea of not guilty has been entered. No trial date has been set. No plea agreement has been reached. No verdict has been issued. The case is in its earliest judicial phase, and everything about the legal outcome remains ahead. Carter reportedly claimed self-defense, but investigators focused on the fact that he allegedly left, retrieved something from his car, returned, and re-entered the apartment. The court could hold him without bond. Detectives could preserve the evidence. Prosecutors could file the charges, but none of that could undo what the Peer family lost before the weekend was over.
Good morning, Mr. Carter. You were arrested for 2 counts of first-degree murder. This is a capital offense if you're found guilty.
He'll be invoking his right to counsel and right to remain silent.
His mother's in court. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
There's probable cause for the charges. It looks like you shot and killed a girlfriend's 2 brothers. I'm going to grant the state's motion for pretrial detention pending final hearing and hold you with no bond. You will see a judge tomorrow. That judge will set a final hearing on the state's motion for pretrial detention.
By the time the afternoon of May 2nd, 2026, had ended, a family in Miami was carrying something they had not carried when the day began. Gianni Peer was 28 years old. Jaheim Peer was 23. They were brothers. They reportedly came to their sister's apartment because they were concerned about her safety inside a relationship that police reports described as having a history of domestic violence concerns. They did not survive that visit. Their sister survived. She was the one who ran out barefoot. She was the one who approached the officers. She was the one who gave the first statement, identified the shooter, and then had to carry everything that came after. That weight does not go away when the suspect is in custody. It does not go away when charges are filed. It stays. There are questions in this case that the public record cannot answer yet. What was the full history of the relationship before that Saturday? What specific concerns had the brothers been carrying in the days or weeks before they decided to go there in person? Why, after leaving the apartment, did Carter allegedly return? How will a court eventually weigh a self-defense claim against a surveillance timeline that reportedly shows him retrieving a firearm from his car before going back to a locked door? And the hardest question, the one that does not belong to the courts or the investigators, is the one the surviving sister will live with in ways that no verdict can fully address. Her brothers came because they were worried about her. She did not ask them to come to danger. She asked a neighbor to call police. She told her brothers not to open the door. None of it was enough. The case against Antwin Carter remains active. As of the latest available information, he is being held without bond, facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, with a plea of not guilty entered. No trial has taken place. No final outcome exists. What does exist permanently is the loss. Violence inside a relationship does not always stay contained between 2 people. Sometimes it reaches the people who love those 2 people. Sometimes it reaches the siblings who drive across the city on a Saturday morning because the quiet worry they have been carrying finally became too loud to ignore. Gianni and Jaheim Peer walked toward that apartment because they thought their sister might need them. That was the last thing they did. Gianni and Jaheim Peer did not enter this story as headlines. They entered it as brothers. They reportedly came to that apartment because someone they loved might have needed protection, and they did not hesitate. By the end of that morning, a family had lost 2 sons in the same place, on the same day, before the weekend was over. If this case stayed with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Be respectful. This is a real family, and the people inside this story are still living with what happened. If you want more stories told this carefully, subscribe and stay with us for the next one. Because the cases that deserve the most attention are often the ones that get the least time. And some stories should not be forgotten